is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wingin podcast. Sandstorm, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, man. Beautiful Sunday.
Yep,
Chilling.
yep. Andre will be with us shortly. He's taking care of some things. So, what you been playing, man?
So we were just talking about this yesterday. So I've been playing Diablo 4. I feel like that's almost like my Streets of Rage 4 to Shadow Fox. You know what I'm saying? Like it's getting to be a problem because I wind up back over there. And the DLC comes out next month now officially since it's September. And I'm like, man, I got to get done with this season. I just have two characters. I really got four, but I'm not really feeling the rogue or the sorcerer for this season. So I've been sticking with the druid and the necromancer, which is like my go-to anyway. And I'm like, man, this just is just getting too good for both of these for this season. So I'm trying to finish them out so I can get back to the rest of real life, as in the other video games that I'm playing. And so,
well, let me ask you this real quick.
uh-huh.
I remember when Diablo 4 first came out, you were having some issues with it. They fixed all that?
Oh man, it's been overhauled and fixed to a whole entirely different level. I highly recommend anybody to pick it up. It's so much more I don't want to say the word streamlined, but like the what is that called? Like the not ergonomics, but uh
Just go with Streamline.
quality of life. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Just go with Streamline.
So a lot of the quality of life stuff has been updated, like a lot. And so every season that comes in, you can kind of use the same build that you used like the season before, but they always like re-roll like all the stats. A lot of the like perks and stuff like that have like they changed massively. So they did well. I highly recommend it. I think I was watching a video of somebody saying it was dropping off, but I'm like, this is the worst time to drop off for this game because this last overhaul was like almost like a like an actual numbered update, like a 1.0 to 2.0 update before they go to DLC, which is going to be a whole nother like 3.0 update, you know what I mean? Especially with a new character and a new area we have to face. So, but yeah, I'm trying to hurry up and get done with that. Because Black Myth, right? So we've been playing the Black Myth. I just jumped back in yesterday to play a little more like last night. Oh my gosh, that was that was seriously that was seriously giving me like it was irritating my core, man. That's the first time I almost rage quit because I was like, you know what, we're just gonna call it a day. But I was like, nah, one more time. So and that ended up being the time that I ended up beating the boss.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
I hate when that when you like lose like 10 times in a row. You like, man, screw this. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
stream off, and then you beat it right after that.
Yeah, you like one more. So I beat it right before we ended the live, which is funny because this is the second time I've done this where I'm like, okay, I'll see y'all later. Get off, peace, everything. And I'd be like, you know what? Let me just traverse just a little bit more. And then I run into another boss, and I'm like, dang, this boss was better than the other boss that I had to fight. Like this is the boss they wanted to see, So
did you have you seen the Goku mod that some people?
Yeah, the mod for it.
It actually looks cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. Perfect. I think it's so dope when they do stuff like that, and that was perfect because he is Son Wukong. So, yeah. So
if you don't know, people, the original Dragon Ball was basically Akira Toriyama's version of Journey to the West.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I've been playing that, and then I actually had to re-download all of Black Myth. I don't know why. It just wouldn't load up like the latest patch files, so I had to uninstall everything and then reinstall everything. So while I was doing that, I was playing Starfield because they finally added the rover. Ooh, it gets so juicy. Oh my gosh, it gets so juicy. Pause.
I'm finna say, dude. I'm finna say.
So they've been adding. So the last time we talked about it, like I had the lightsaber mod, so I could like kind of be like the whole Star Wars thing. And this part, I like highly recommend anybody who has Starfield, like go get these mods now before they before Bethesda takes them down or whatever. And make sure you don't update with patches and stuff like that. But um they've overhauled the Star Wars stuff. So like now we have, droids, like the regular robots in there are now like droids. Every time you see like the small, like the little droids, they're like the R2D2 units. They've added skins, like randomized skins for certain people, so they look like different aliens in the Star Wars universe. They've added more lightsabers, including like the double saber, and the Inquisitor saber. Like they've overhauled the Star Wars theme, and that so like it is even though it's still like Starfield at the end of the day, like the feeling is just different just because the skins are there. I think even the other patch that I had, the guy even added like so for like the regular attack robots. Instead of them being like the attack robots, they're giant ATSTs instead. You know what I'm saying? And they shoot the lasers and they got all the sound effects and all that. So even with the rover, which is just like the regular rover that you would have, they've modded it so that it's the T-16 Hopper. You know what I'm saying? So you ride around.
So they went all in with it. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, but like I said, licensing is gonna come down real fast. So,
oh yeah, yeah.
all you can before they toss that away. So, yeah, that's basically all I've been playing. Want to get back into Tears of the Kingdom. I just don't know when that's gonna happen. But we have to
build your tank, man.
You know what's so ironic? I'm having deja vu. I feel like we had this conversation either last year or if not the year before, where I said, I want to get back into Breath of the Wild, but I guess this is the perfect time because it's Labor Day and I have the day off after. So, and I feel like I'm about to say the same thing. I have the day off and a day off after playing.
Hey, just go and build your tank.
I want the tank so bad. You just gotta have patience to be able to make stuff like that. Like stuff be falling on me, and I'm like, oh. Forget it.
I dedicate a whole day to that. Dude, I got two tanks, man. I got a small tank and I got a big tank. A big tank for them area bosses. A small tank is to go to them encampments. Going in there, handle that, and I'll come clean up the scragglers.
Yo, I appreciate that, J2. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, J2. Andre, what you been playing?
I was playing something earlier. No, honestly, I haven't played as many games this week. I did play the MEO demo, and I had recorded the whole thing.
Wait. MEO? The one with the hair?
No, the paper bag.
Smiling Man.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what? That came out? Okay.
I recorded the whole thing.
All three parts?
Yes. And the audio desynced.
Oh no!
In a way, I couldn't fix it.
Oh no!
Normally, I could separate the audio and slide it back. It desynced so bad that parts of it got mixed up when they were talking versus when dialogue was on the screen. I was like, "Hey, no way I can put this up." So I'm going to redo it. But gosh, did that irritate me?
Yeah.
How is that?
It's
good. It gets you thinking, honestly. So,
man, dude, I heard Famicom Technical Club. Them games was like,
look, man. This is a Nintendo published game that's got cussing in it. That's a little different to me.
Oh, okay. So, go ahead, Nintendo.
I think Nintendo is probably on the verge of starting a specific studio to do adult themed games by Nintendo, and I so hope they call it Nintendo Black. sort of like Marvel had Marvel Max for the more adult themed stuff.
Why? So they can be
just
what?
do black inside the label, and that's all you got to do.
So they can be like, don't worry, he's not black.
He's not black. Yeah, like, bro, you just opened up a can of worms with that. I hope you know that.
I mean, hey, look, the joke will just make people want to buy the game. So Nintendo should thank me for the idea.
That's very true. I've been playing Trails Through Daybreak. That game is excessively good. First Descendant, still going through that. And I started back playing Sonic Adventure 2 on Xbox. I'm like, dude, I forgot how hard that game is until you get all your power ups. Once you get all the power ups, the game gets excessively easier. Mm-hmm. But before then, like, dude, this game is like, Jesus, game's hard. But yeah, Sonic Adventure 2, been playing that because that Sonic 3 trailer they did my boy Shadow Justice. I got man, because when he goes through the gun building, beating up all the guards, I'm like, I started getting flashbacks to that first Pokemon movie where Mewtwo was killing everybody. I'm like,
yeah.
Y'all gonna go there, Sega?
They probably would.
Y'all gonna go there? Y'all gonna let him kill everybody? Because technically, that's what he did in the game.
I was gonna say, in Shadow the Hedgehog, that's exactly what he did. He
killed
everybody.
But no, in Sonic Adventure 2, when they showed him break out, he killed everybody.
I'm saying, but Shadow of the Hedgehog took it a step further. So I mean, it's just basically. I just wish they never gave him guns.
I was just about to say, if he don't beat up all them people and get the glick real quick, and be like,
that man himself. All he has to do is pull Yusuke Urameshi. He don't need an actual gun.
Well, I did like that they actually gave him his bike and they did the whole thing. I'm like, dude,
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right, y'all actually gonna go there. So that trailer actually had me. So I was feeling myself a little bit, and I was like, I do have Sonic Adventure 2, one that works because my Dreamcast is dead. Y'all know that. Mm-hmm. So like, so I was playing that this weekend. I'm like, I forgot how much fun and how hard that thing is at first. But
especially
once you get
if you
your
ain't got your rhythm down yet.
Yeah. And it's a little bit different rhythm with that Xbox controller than it is with that Dreamcast controller. I'll tell you that. So that, and once I get my power-ups, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling myself again. So, but I got to give them props. I got to give Sonic team props because the Knuckles and Rouge stages got the best music, man.
Yes, they do.
I'm like, yeah, dang, just laid back and chill. So there's that. But all right, so people, Andre, we've had this discussion before. About how much money you think it takes before a game that can't run becomes able to run?
How much money or how many units sold?
How many units sold? I mean, how many units sold?
Well, if you Namco Bandai, it's like every 25 million, you add a new game to that list.
Okay, so this first game we got to talk about, it came out in 2021. I thought it was 2022. It was 2021. And I'm sitting here like, didn't they say this couldn't be played?
You talking about Strive that runs in the exact same engine as Dragon Ball Fighters?
Yes, that one. So let's watch.
You don't say.
I'm going to give this my all. You ready? Then I don't need to hold back.
So the worst name ever.
Full bad guy.
Full bad guy. But they always have them fighting each other, but half the time they actually work together.
Yeah,
it wasn't doable. Y'all really believe that?
That's what I know. I'll be playing with
so bad. At least you're enthusiastic. Get me a little.
Oh, teaching you the combos.
My world peace experiment.
Why can't we just kill him together?
Are you ready?
See that picture mode would be nice to use.
Yeah. Now that date is interesting.
What was the date? I'm sorry, I missed that. I looked down.
January 23rd, 2025. That's the date. I find that interesting because we all know what's supposed to drop next year. It's probably going to drop in March.
Right.
So I find that interesting.
I've been saying that.
So, and hey, RJ, thank you. Yeah, Ace Combat 7, which was supposed to be able to run, and Yakuza. Well, this is the first Yakuza, so.
Well, no. According to everybody, since that botched Wii U port of Yakuza, which was a botched port.
It was a botched port, yeah.
But it's like this is a PS3 game. There ain't no way in the world that y'all thought that couldn't work on a platform with better equipment.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Shadow, how you doing, man?
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Yeah. So
I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
It's so because I'm not really into Guilty Gear like that. It's so bad guy that actually the bad guy?
No, he's not.
He's the good guy. Like I said, worst name ever.
You basically could consider him an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and for the Maximilian Dude fans, yes, it does have rollback netcode because it does have crossplay. But it does have
literally the exact same engine that's in Dragon Ball Fighters. Yeah. I was like, there's like you can see that the engine is exactly
the same.
Style, same engine.
But it wasn't. From what I remember, there's no way in the world the Switch could play that. But they said the same thing about Dragon Ball FighterZ until they didn't reach sales goals.
Right, that part. Yeah.
I remember people were blaming Wii U for rollback netcode, saying that because the online was so bad you couldn't do online.
Maximilian Dude.
Rollback net. Yeah, that's just as wild to me. It's the game. Like build the game around it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Killing stick in the chat. Appreciate y'all.
It's weird that's a problem though when most of Nintendo's games run peer to peer and they're perfectly fine. Because they wrote the game around it being peer to peer.
But when Katsuhiro Harada said that, people called him a liar.
Yep.
No, you can add in rollback net code to a game, but you have to reprogram the game around doing it.
And that's what he said, and people called him a liar.
And it makes sense too.
It made no sense.
Like I don't know. I shouldn't have to re-educate our audience, right? But for anybody that's not following, it's about inputs. Inputs are the first line of code usually that you're writing in the game. Like you're receiving inputs, you're drawing the initial display, you're running your main code, you're figuring out where main memory is, all your memory maps, and you're receiving inputs. So like before you could add anything to a game, the inputs have to be already planned out. You can't go back and tack that on to a game after the fact. And online gameplay heavily depends on that because you're emulating inputs that are normally serial connections directly on the system. So, that being said, the rest should follow naturally in that way. So you need to start from the beginning for the most part if you want to get the best out of how rollback netcode works.
Which is why I always say the correct way to fix anything is just make it a Warriors game and call it a day.
Yeah, you were
because clearly they don't care about their engine and they run the same engine since 2003.
Right. You were saying that that release date was in January, and I said this yesterday, but I said that like with the partner direct and the Indies direct, every game that had a release date that was in January or that was in 2025 was before February. Except for one.
Yeah, it was one that was March 6th.
Okay. But outside of that, like they wasn't going past that. It just said 2025 at that point.
Clear.
I'm like, oh.
You're clear unless you got permission.
Right.
Just thinking off the top of my head, I think they're gonna do what they did with Switch and just drop that thing in March.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's gonna happen.
That's what I'm feeling.
A lot of those games that we saw in that partner direct are gonna be cross compatible.
Yeah.
Or they just going to go the route. Some companies are going to just release a PS4 version because the console is going to be backwards compatible. So they'll just release
backwards compatible
a Switch version that'll work on the next platform.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about the ones that they got the release date before.
Oh yeah.
The ones that got the release date before is going to be playable anyway. Because I'm thinking that thing's going to be. It's funny how one generation away, another company heralds back compatibility, and everybody love it. I digress. So, how many people gonna be playing Zelda's feature game now that she's has a sword? Now that she can use a sword for about 5 seconds.
So many people now.
I mean, I was getting it anyway because reasons, and I thought that I'm just at this point. I'm like, is everything Nintendo doing gonna have the depths in it?
Basically,
we had the depths in Pikmin 4. We had.
They're like, we running with that. That was a good idea. We running with that. There was depths in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Every adventure game, 3 maps.
But nobody's still complaining about it.
I was gonna say there's one thing you can say. One thing that people can't say is that them complaining about it is what made Nintendo put it in there, because they had to have already had this program since they didn't change their release date.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure Echoes of Wisdom was being worked on when they released Link's Awakening. They released Link's Awakening just to see what people were gonna say. People loved it, and they were like, okay, full steam ahead. And I'm pretty sure both teams was working on it. Like, the Tears of the Kingdom team was like, yeah, y'all can use this, this, and this, and that's what they ran with. So, they dropped that new trailer for Echoes of Wisdom. I liked it. I thought it was actually pretty cool. I actually like getting gameplay trailers where they actually talk. If we're not going to get a full-on Treehouse Live, give me about a good 5-10 minute gameplay trailer. I'm good. Yeah, so
I'm all for it. Dash a little story in there for me.
Yeah. So we all know Link's going to be playable at some point because they're going to have to team up. Whoever they fighting, they're going to have to team up. That's how these games been going since Ocarina of Time. So
yeah, I hope it's more than just the intro.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more than that. But there's that. Shadow, you want to talk about this Steam?
Yeah, just since we were talking about, you know, game engines not running on certain hardware and all that other kind of stuff. Like I think I probably reiterate this the most on Twitter, but I've probably said this a lot on podcasts and debates too. PC gamers ain't PC gaming. And the reason why I say that is, like, the first thing everybody likes to talk about is, hey, the most powerful hardware runs the most games, right? And we need this powerful hardware to run these games. I want everybody to know that this number really has not budged in the past, I want to say 4 years. We're at 32, almost 33% of computer users playing Steam only have 6 CPU cores. So, I thought that we had 2 iterations of consoles in the 8th generation and the 9th generation that at least give you 8 cores. And 8 threads worth of stuff, right? So if that's the case, and these PC gamers ain't out here, they don't even care about. And also, these ports still magically work on these systems, by the way. So it's almost like it doesn't matter what the hardware is because you can still make the game run. What's really strange down here is 19% is 4 CPU cores.
Well, Shadow, you got to remember, like, the ports only work once you hit a certain threshold sold, certain unit sold. That's when the port works.
So we're looking at what's 32 plus 19? That's what, probably close to 50% real quick. So 50% is 6 CPU cores or less right now. But we keep screaming about all this power we need for these consoles, and then but the majority of PC gamers who supposedly have the most powerful hardware, they're not even doing it. Like I think it's probably half and half now if you start adding 8 CPUs and which other could be anything between 8 and probably 16 to 64, what have you. Like, so, but still, you're talking about over half of the user base, 32, 19, and 5%. 2 CPUs, 4 CPUs, and 6 CPUs. That's the majority. That's insane. That's insane to think about.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because if you listen to the media, right? If you listen to gaming press, they tell you the opposite all the time. But the truth is out there. Like I put a thread out on Twitter the other day when I said, hey, it's just kind of interesting that, where is the 98% at? Because Animal Crossing sold record amount in 9 months on one platform. There's multi-platform games that haven't sold 20 million copies since 2020 on these new platforms. And Nintendo Switch, supposedly dated hardware, in 2020 did it in 9 months with one game on one platform. So it's always possible. It's always there, and it's not always about the specs. It's about the game. What kind of audience are you are you aiming for, and is it fun to them? There's a reason why Fortnite is still a good run right now. It could look real good if you have real decent hardware. It could look real good on there too. But what are the majority of people playing Fortnite using? And what do their settings look like? And do they really care? So as long as they can play the game, it doesn't matter. And Nintendo has been on this. They've known this internal secret since, it shouldn't be a secret, but they've known this since about 1999. And it's just wild to me to see it play out in real time, literally failing in front of people. And Sony is trying to help publish third-party games come out and they flop day one. They keep trying to show, hey, we're realistic. Look at us at the space thing. Hey, we're this big online event thing, and it just doesn't work. And Splatoon just keeps on trucking.
Yeah,
it's just weird to me. So how much evidence is enough at this point? So, I love technology. I love to talk about technology, and I love the way things are going forward. Software-defined hardware has really picked up the pace. I think it is well above that of general purpose compute for a lot of these GPUs and stuff like that. Now you're seeing amazing results with the Mac Mini. It's insane today to even think about a chip significantly smaller than an entire GPU, and it outperforms that GPU. So it's not about the numbers and the threads. It's what is the software designed to do, and is the hardware tuned to take advantage of that software? And that's how you get things like Wii U doing games at 1080p. On paper, it doesn't look like it's possible, but once you know, hey, you only need so much per frame, yeah, you get 1080p games. So I don't know, but that was just.
I can't brag about having the strongest console if that happens.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. Like this current PC I'm using right now, it only has 8 CPU cores, but that's crazy that I'm still among the minority. That's 8 CPU threads is 20.3% per what I just showed you. So that's insane. That this is a Ivy Bridge PC that I use as a test bench, and I've had it since about 2011, and it's still at the top. I want to say the top 20% of that chart that we just saw there. That I don't know what else to tell you. Everybody ain't out. PC gamers are not out there gaming like that. They're not all out here with $4,000 rigs looking for all the FPS and all of the 8K goodness. That's the 1%. Just keeping it above. That's the 1%. Yeah. Do I have another? I have another desktop upstairs that's capable of that kind of stuff. But what's what point? Yeah. What's the point? Especially if the game isn't really built for it. Now you're brute forcing a game that wasn't designed for that, and you're going to get issues. Textures aren't going to look right. That kind of stuff. So
essentially, it's bragging rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm glad you brought up the whole realism thing. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Visions of Mana just dropped. just released. Studio just got closed.
That's so sad.
It don't make no sense.
That's so sad.
And the demo was fun. The demo was fun. Like, if you didn't like Trials of Mana, you're probably not gonna like it because it looks and plays just like that. By the way,
same type of remake style.
Yeah, but the demo was fun. The demo was a lot of fun. I still plan on picking it up, but I found it interesting and kind of sad that the game releases on the 29th. The studio is shuttered on the 30th.
Who do you think picks those people up?
I don't know, but I hope they find somebody because Tango got lucky. Tango Gameworks got lucky getting picked up by
yeah, I forgot the name of those people.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but they got lucky because they were supposed to have been gone too.
Yeah,
you know, they're supposed to have been dissolved too. They just got lucky because they had other games they were working on, so they still had people there, and they got picked up, thankfully. But we've said, I know I sound like a broken record, but these games cost too much, man.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta cut these prices, man. Everything don't need to be. Your video game should not cost upwards of $100 million.
Yeah, that part.
It should not cost upwards of $100 million. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm even accounting for inflation. It should not cost that much.
And that's the problem. ZeniMax. Yeah. And that's the problem with with our community is the fact that, like, I know, like, we all haven't been conditioned. I don't even know if I call it conditioning. It's brainwashing, but we've all been conditioned. Well, not we, but there's been conditioning in the industry for a while now, to the point where it's like people expect it. You know what I mean? Like, not talking numbers or anything like that as far as how much it costs to make the game, but like every game needs this because this is what they think is the standard for gaming. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything has to have ray tracing. It's got to be 60 frames per, like, you know, all the buzzwords that we hear, like that is what the loud but like vocal minority likes to tout. And that's from the hand who fed them. You know what I mean? So now that hand is like kind of low on his money, you know what I'm saying? It's a gaming recession in their pockets. It's like, well, we can still feed you these scraps, but like, you not getting Coca-Cola, instead you getting like Mr. Pibb. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't gonna get the Mountain Dew, you're gonna get the off-brand. Like, but we're gonna try and force feed you and still tell you that it's good. Like, this is exactly what you want. You still getting all the sugars and all that stuff you getting, but it's not the name brand stuff. And now people, I think it's kind of good and healthy as we've kind of moved into it, because now people are continuously tasting this stuff and like being like, this don't taste like the PS4, like how I had it with the PS4, how we was eating. Like, this food ain't the same. Yeah. Something's different in this equation that's not feeling like it was last time. And I know we're gonna talk about it later, but it's even moving into now. Sony is talking about like, yeah, we're kind of in the later half of the life cycle for the system, and people are like, but like, we just started, and it's like, I just got it. No, y'all been here for a little while now. Like, I mean, y'all just ain't been eating. You know what I'm saying?
That's the truth, though. They just feel like they just got started because they ain't been eating. So it's like, bro, it's been 4 years.
This meal was kind of sparse. I mean, you just gave us celery.
and then on top of that, most of the games was out on PS4. They put it in small print, but it was out on PS4 and in most cases PC now. So
yeah,
I mean, it's. I would say I feel bad. I don't.
We have the Wii U.
No.
No, because they put this.
But those are the people that clown the Wii U and said it didn't have no games.
Yeah, but and the problem with that was that's why I said that's why when I see people say, "Oh, it's gonna be the same thing as with the Wii U," I'm like, I don't believe that because they control the narrative now.
Mhm.
Hence why you have Jeff Keighley mad that people won't show up to summer games. I'm like, dude, you did this.
Mhm.
You was one of them. You was one of them people that was sitting up spreading misinformation. You getting everything you deserve. I feel nothing for you. So when people make fun of you, when they don't show up to your stuff, that's because of you.
Yeah.
Like, look, if Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller were still at IGN, it'll be their fault too. The problem is they left. And they still doing the same stuff. That's why I'm like, dude, they are the reason why stuff is the way it is right now. Yeah. They are. Now they'll never take it. They'll never admit it.
Mm-mm.
They'll be like, "Oh no, we've been stuck behind every game. We love all gaming." No, y'all don't.
That's why y'all had to wipe all that Wii U stuff.
Man, that stuff to this day, every Wii U article I find has been stealth edited like 5 years after the fact.
Yep.
Huh? So I'm like, bro, y'all did that. Y'all did.
Only difference with Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller is that they're not trying to position themselves to be in the middle like Jeff is. Jeff is trying to now position himself to be in the middle, but you were strong arming from one direction, and it's too late to just say, "Oh, well, hey, I'm here for everybody now."
Yeah.
It seems to all have been coming from one direction, and with that, I'll say it's the various third parties that wanted Nintendo to go. And the reason why I say that is the third parties are the ones that pay for all the ads on all these sites. They paid for a lot of the access, and they gave a lot of the access to G4 back in the day, and all those different hosts that were there back then during that time and whatnot. So it was in their best interest to listen to what they had to say and the complaints that they had, instead of listening to Nintendo directly, instead of intentionally mistranslating them to form the status quo then at the time. It got so bad to the point I just started going back and looking at some of the reviews of third-party games then at the time. Like they will start off the article saying, "Well, we know it's on the Wii U, but come on, what are we doing?"
Right.
Yeah.
What are we doing? You're already massaging it in, and when I guess my issue is, they didn't even try to hide it. It was more of a thing like, "Hey, we just got free Xboxes at E3. Hey,
we got free PlayStations. Remember that one?
Mass opening PlayStations sent by Sony. It's just bad."
Yeah.
And here we got, and when YouTubers started popping off, and they're like, "Hey, I bought this game. This is what I think about it." Like literally live streaming them walking into the store buying it, and then coming home and opening it, and hey, this is what it looks like when you open it. Hey, this is me putting it in. This is me playing it or whatever. Old 480p videos. People started watching those more than paying attention to cable, whatever TV then at the time, or going to those websites. And I think they saw that change happening. But instead of them saying, "Hey, look, let's be more honest," they just said, "You know what? We'll just pay YouTubers to continue the status quo."
And it didn't. It worked for a time, and then ended up backfiring.
Yeah, because they tried to do it for Switch too, and it just didn't. Nintendo had already gotten their message out there. It was a wrap.
That's what I'm saying. Like they control the narrative. Like once they started doing Nintendo Direct, and I will say the Direct ain't what killed the competition. It was them Treehouse Live events.
Yep.
That's what killed them.
Nothing you can do about that.
Now can't nobody say we don't know what the game play like. They set the developer, they set a representative from the company, they had the translator, and they had the person playing the game, and you're watching it.
And they're live streaming it. So now there's no need for gaming. They're cut completely out of the loop. And that was the thing. Like when Satoru Iwata made that statement, he said, "We have to prove that our system is capable of this because there's a misconception about our system." He knew why the misconception was there. Yeah. And that's why they took it out completely. They're like, "Oh, we already had started experimenting with Wii anyway and creating our own little TV shows and stuff like that. We're going to cut them all the way out."
He killed him with a smile on his face.
So, yeah.
Dude, man, y'all need to get that book, Ask Iwata. Dude was a G. Dude was a straight G. I'm like, bruh, Oh, that's why Yamaguchi.
That's why he picked him.
That's why he picked him.
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, you're a developer, but you still savage. I'll take it.
Yeah,
right. With a smile, please understand.
He's like, so you don't do it the way I do, or I'm just direct. You smile at them, whine them, and dine them, get them all comfortable, then walk over and give them massage their shoulders, then shiv them in the back.
Yeah. And then say, please understand as you do it.
and look at them all crawling back now as PlayStation is not a platform for them to get profit on anymore.
But right now, Sony got problems right now. So Jason the Jones is get that to you.
Apparently, according to fanboys on Twitter, it's all right because the PlayStation is costing more in Japan now, but their operating profit is equal to net profit. Apparently.
It's okay because Sony has a bunch of temporary third-party exclusives.
Right. Temporary. It's all right because the PlayStation 5 is their greatest, their most profitable console sold to date.
And I hear this.
Where is all that profit going?
It's funny when I say this stuff, and then I get the you're a Nintendo fanboy. I'm like, bro, I'm playing God of War today. Like, what are we even? But okay, cool story. You've pigeonholed me. I'm exactly what you say I am.
So while we're on the subject of that, because I thought, and shout out, I got asked this last week, and I didn't have a chance to put it on there, but we're gonna get to that Nintendo Partner Showcase in a minute. But fighting collections, because Capcom,
they turned into a hoe, didn't they? They turned into a
Before we get into that completely, we just got to shout out the man that was following me that left the company.
Oh, yeah,
Isuno.
Yeah,
because I'm starting to think that all this stuff that I said was he would see it, he'd run to the higher ups, and somehow it happened.
That's exactly how it happens.
the thing
now we just need breath of fire.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to get this. Look, I already got the X-Men stuff. Y'all knew I was gonna get that though. But this Capcom Fighting Collection 2, they went and put Power Stone and Power Stone 2 in it. I'm like,
just pre-order
and Project Justice. And Project Justice. I wish they'd have thrown in the original rival schools, but Project Justice.
This is fine. It's just. I just want to play with the swim team and troll people.
You know why I didn't pre-order though? Because they put that teaser out there. I'm like, why are you gonna tease that a physical copy's coming? Now I gotta go through the whole drama of getting my feelings hurt only to end up buying digital anyway.
I'm double dipping.
Because the digital's gonna drop first.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm getting both. I ain't waiting. Damn that. I'm not waiting to play Power Stone, dude. I'm not.
You ain't got no choice. They said you have no choice.
Nah, I'll pre-order the physical version later.
They said you slept on Torna. You slept on what else? You slept on that. Bet you don't sleep on me though.
No. That was Shadow. I told Shadow about Torna. I didn't sleep on Torna.
Yeah, I was so wrong on Torna. I had to grab that so quick.
Look, my niece got mine. My niece got my copy of Torna. And so I warned him.
None of us slipped on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but we didn't have you couldn't get it.
Right.
It was like, hey, it's available. Oh, sorry. So
sleep on me if you want to. When I drop this MVT2, sleep on me if you want to.
There's a resident PlayStation fanboy on Twitter. He said, "Oh well, how are y'all gonna play that with all the input lag?" And I'm like, what input lag? What you talking about?
I had a problem in these streets.
Right,
RJ, I believe you are correct, sir.
I wouldn't be surprised.
After saying Guilty Gear Strive, I believe you are correct, sir. Because
honestly, that could be on the Switch right now because it's running in the RE engine.
Yeah.
And you have games in the RE engine running on the Switch, which also ticks me off about RE2 and 3 remake being cloud versions when you have the engine running on the hardware.
And you can't say it don't run because you built Monster Hunter Rise, so you can't say it don't run.
Right.
What if, and this is a big if, what if the cloud versions for all the Switch games was actually prototype Switch 2 hardware anyway?
That'd be wild.
That would make sense.
You have to build a hardware profile for what if that was a hardware profile they were building around?
That'd be wild.
First of all, I didn't need a cloud version of Kingdom Hearts.
I was just about to say, do you give Kingdom Hearts? You give?
I wouldn't give it. Look, I don't give them a pass.
But that means automatically they can just open the digital store, and those games are now available like natively on the new platform because they were already there and being tested. That would be insane if that's what they were doing.
They better be.
So but he said Street Fighter 6. My thing, well, the other thing about that is Street Fighter 6 and the Amiibo working.
Oh, that's gonna be what it is.
They got to do a Chun-Li
amiibo. Have an exclusive mode for amiibo.
And you can use your Ken and Ryu from Smash Brothers.
Yep.
I'm betting you're gonna be able to use your Ken and Ryu from Smash Brothers. They would have did it.
If they make a Chun-Li amiibo,
that thing will sell out immediately.
It'll sell out immediately.
Well, no, at this point, you get Chun-Li and Mai.
Yeah.
And Bison too. Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's the other thing. Like Fatal Fury, City of Wolves. Like,
I hate that name.
I love that name. Just like I love the name Kushinu Butt.
So,
look,
according to Max, though, it's going to play like CVS. So we'll see.
Yeah.
This one thing I want to point out, and this the repositioning of Terry against Ryu.
Oh,
this happening with SNK and Capcom. Because for people that don't know, just a quick and dirty explanation. When SNK during the 90s was going, Terry was the mascot for SNK.
Yep.
After King of Fighters rolled in, Kyo took over that position as the mascot for SNK.
Because he's the protagonist of that franchise.
Wasn't Fatal Fury 3 supposed to be the last game?
It was the last game of the original series. Then they rolled in the real bout.
Yeah, I was about to say, then they started doing real bout and all that other stuff. And then they did Fatal Fury 3D.
Yeah.
Or 64 or whatever.
No, it was 3D because that was I think that was PS2 eventually. Yeah, but it was 3D. But it was rolling. It was Terry was the original mascot for SNK. Then Kyo took over for a long period of time. Now Terry's the mascot again. That's why you see the slow removal of Kyo from the positions where he's actually the lead, and they just put Terry in place. I'm like,
that kind of hurts though, because he was the guy.
What y'all should have done from get go is just have a 4-way rivalry between Ken, Ryu, Kyo, and Terry. It would have been it would have saved everything.
Yeah.
Then it would make a difference.
That sounds like logic though.
I was saying that back when I was younger, when they originally did the first crossover. I was like, okay, so if Ken and Ryu have natural rivalry with each other, Kyo and Terry have a natural rivalry with each other. Mm-hmm. You'd expect Ken and Terry, because they were both the American martial arts champion, and Kyo and Ryu because they're both Japanese champions. Mm-hmm. Terry was the original mascot.
Yep.
Ryu was the face of Street Fighter. Boom. But then you have Kyo as the face of King of Fighters. Ryu, okay. And then Ken and Kyo, because their personalities are almost the same.
Yeah, and Ken was the face of Street Fighter 5, right? Wasn't he? Didn't they put him on the cover of one of them?
Well, he might have been
on the cover. He was on the cover.
He was like in the front, I thought. Like,
he was
on one of the cover images, but they quickly replaced him with
they replaced, like, I think was it the Sony version or was it the Xbox version? One of the versions had him in front and center, and then
it was the PC and Sony.
Then they changed it back to Ryu with the looking like Goken with the little thing across.
Well, that's for Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Well, we talking about 5, then Ken was on the front.
Yeah, I think Ken was on the front of 5.
And
he had the little man bun thing.
For 4, Ken and Ryu were both on the cover.
Yeah. So, Fighting Collections, another round do one for Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
So how do you do it? Do you do 2, but 1 through 5 on one, and then put 6, 7, 8, and 9 on another one?
There's so many different Mortal Kombat games.
That's the problem.
I say you put trilogy and
5.
Hold on, because if you say trilogy, are you talking about the game Mortal Kombat trilogy or the Mortal Kombat trilogy?
No.
1, 2, and Ultimate MK3, because nobody likes MK3. It's Ultimate MK3 is the one they like. Yeah. Nobody likes that first one.
MK3 was a poor man's Killer Instinct. So like they had to put Ultimate in there to unlock all the rest of the characters and everything. And Yeah, you can't have a Mortal Kombat game without Katana. I don't know what they were smoking. So
yeah, I don't understand.
But that's why I bring up difference, because there is the game called Mortal Kombat Trilogy where you have different versions of the character.
I was gonna say Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and then put one of the older, one of the first of the 3D, and then move it from there.
Because
That'd probably be Mortal Kombat 4 then.
And then on 5, there's some stuff you'd have to change quality of life wise. Remember, 5 had that stupid thing where you could only have one save profile.
Yeah, Deadly Alliance.
Yeah. So they'd have to change that. So I was like, we got asked that, and I was like, you know what, that would be cool, but I kind of would like the MK mythology stuff, like Shaolin Monks.
I would like that
Sub-Zero though, with quality of life improvements.
Right.
That control scheme sucked. And I never played special forces because when I found out it was around was when I was in a retro store back in 2010. I'm like, this actually came out, and I ain't know nothing about it. So I wouldn't mind having new, because those are the only 3 I know about. I don't know if it was another one.
There weren't any other ones, because the rest of the stuff that was like that was baked into the games.
Gotcha. So
Shaolin Monks is
that's the one on PS2.
That's the one that's the last.
Where you running around, right?
That's what comes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Special Forces and Shaolin Monks were on PS2.
Yeah. But that Shaolin Monks was like in 2005. It was right before the PS3.
It was toward the end of the PS2's life cycle.
And it was basically just Liu Kang and Kung Lao set between the end of 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I would like them to do a trilogy of those games separately from the fighting stuff. But yeah, Mortal Kombat itself does need a selection. Because
you're not gonna put 10 and 11 on there. And I don't even think you really need to put 9 on there. So what, you put 1 through Armageddon?
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So my thing is, you have to stop there, because once you get to Mortal Kombat 9 and
that's
10,
when the soft reboot happens, right?
Well, it's a soft reboot, but also now you got the big film licensing and all that too. Yeah. So that's gonna become a thing. Yeah. And you don't re-release it without being able to have those characters in there. So you got to work out deals.
Because Kratos was in 9.
Yep. And then
that's right.
And then you have Freddy Krueger and all that. So you have to, you got to figure out how the licensing is going to go for those.
That's
why Predator was in 10, I think.
Yeah, he was in 10.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to understand why they didn't put Sho'nuff from Very Gorgeous the Last Dragon in there if they're going to have all these 80s.
Man, Sho'nuff should have been in Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
Sho'nuff.
Yes.
I mean, look, you can take the Martin Lawrence character and throw him in there.
Yep.
I mean, not Martin Lawrence, but
Dragonfly Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
You can throw him in there. Sho'nuff could definitely fit in there, because Sho'nuff is the original.
Who's the master?
Sho'nuff is the original Akuma.
Yep.
Sho'nuff does KO Ken. Sho'nuff does KO Ken. Yeah. Time's over, boy.
Glow.
Like, bruh.
The glow.
Yep.
Sting a little donut. Like, dude, I love Julius Carey, dog. Julius Carey, like, it was over the top, but it was the perfect amount of over the top. Like, it was the perfect amount. And
it was perfect for that movie, for sure.
And the fight scene, especially that fight scene at the end, like, bro, like, I was like, was he hitting him for real? Was he punching him for real? Because, like, some of those shots were like, hey, dog, did you hit? Oh, what? You hit Tyrek for real, bro?
I mean, they might have, just for the effect. They might
for the effect,
go ahead and actually.
Because both of them, I didn't know this, but Julius Carey was, he was like a black belt. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I really did not know that. Like, he was Shotokan Karate. I'm like, I did not know
nice.
That.
Which leads more
nice
credence, leads more credence to me saying he's the original Akuma.
Yeah. Yeah. But he will forever be known for Kiss My Converse. So that weird hair in my favorite opening fight scene in a movie theater.
Look, if somebody playing on Capcom versus SNK 2, flip Akuma's palette, flip his red hair, and then his black geese. You'll understand exactly what I'm saying, because you look at him like that looks exactly like Sho'nuff.
Yeah, but he ain't as cool as Sho'nuff because Sho'nuff just had the trash talk.
Okay, he ain't as cool as him, but come on, he's the Japanese version of Sho'nuff.
Without the shoulder pads.
To me, Shinakuma was a better character. I mean, that probably fits the mold, but he was too weak. Well, he do a lot of damage, but he couldn't take no hits.
Nah, he could.
But he's a glass cannon on purpose.
Yeah.
So people can't cheese with him.
That's the one thing, because like for instance, like Mortal Kombat next wave, they got Conan the Barbarian, and I'm like, bro, last one y'all had Terminator and Rambo, and y'all didn't want to get Sho'nuff. Have y'all not seen the greatest 80s action movie of all time?
If they're gonna do,
they think that's the Warriors.
If they're gonna do Sho'nuff, you gotta also have Bruce Leroy.
Yeah.
You gotta do both of them.
Yeah. I don't see the problem with it. I like
because I want to have them Bruce Leroy versus Liu Kang fights.
Because I'll tell you like that, you keep messing around, Sakurai gonna put both of them in damn Smash Brothers. Keep messing around.
You take it too long.
Yeah.
Look, he's going to unofficially drop them in there by putting the move sets in and let people use the Mii Maker
to do it. Yeah.
I will say I am somewhat satisfied that the circle is complete and they got Jean-Claude Van Damme to be in there. I was like, it was time. It was time.
It was time. It might as well because he kind of had a career resurgence the past 10 years. So I'm like, yeah, it was time to do that. All right. So did y'all see? All right. So Star Wars Outlaws came out, and I was watching some Twitch gameplay of it, and glitches was happening while the dude was playing. It was bad.
Did it look ugly too?
It was like the Bethesda. It was like the Bethesda glitches where like stuff be half the body be over here, the other half over here.
Oh, well, that's the charm of the game. But it's just so complex.
No, it's not. It's not the charm when Ubisoft does it.
No, it's not charm. Right. No, but when Bethesda does it, it's nostalgic glitches.
Yeah, but Bethesda jank.
Yeah. So I just want to get you because have y'all seen those?
Nah, I haven't.
I'm terrified to look.
The moment that they said that you can buy this game and it'll be available to you for $70, but wait, you can buy this game for more if you want to buy it on the day one when it's supposed to come out on a Tuesday, mind you, for even more than that. I was done with them, and then they were like, and also we have this DLC that's already in the game, but we took it out of the game and charged you more for it, so you could play some of the hut missions. I was out for it.
Like, because that was the whole if you bought it day one. Situation.
Yeah. So essentially you were paying $100 to play it on the original day that it was supposed to come out, or you pay $70 and you play it 3 days later. Like that. That makes
this sounded like some Dead Rising 4 situation.
That's just ridiculous. And then on top of that, when the game actually comes out, because yes, I have seen some gameplay, and I said the ugly version, is that all the stuff that they were showing off before, she looked totally different. Now looking at it, they make her look like, oh no, my man's off the Goonies. You know what I'm saying? She got the messed up face and everything. And I'm like, what happened? Like, what did y'all do? Why did y'all do that? Like,
they downgraded it.
Yeah, like it wasn't. Nothing else has changed except for her face. Like y'all.
You want to know what's messed up?
God, I'm looking at it now. This is bad.
Hey, what's messed up is they're gonna do the same thing when Perfect Dark releases. Watch.
That's horrible, bro.
Because people were mad with how her face looked. I'm like, dude, it's a first person game. You're hardly ever gonna see her face.
I wasn't mad about her face.
No, I wasn't either.
She looked fine as far as the facial features go.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, but it was.
But this is a third-person game. This is a third-person game, and you got to see that every time. Like, dang, they really just watered down my stuff for $100.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this game just has really bad collision detection, and the ragdoll stuff is just random. It was just very poorly troubleshot. Like they did not do any Q&A on this game at all.
This makes me worry about Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, because I can tell you this feels like a
this is
like a setup, like a test of that. Yeah.
this is a licensed game. Like Disney let this out too.
Yeah,
Like this is an embarrassment.
For Disney, it was we need to get it out. We've already waited too long.
Yeah, because when that game like in development,
That,
for like
that game
5
was
years,
delayed too.
Yeah. So yeah, they probably was like one of the situations where if we let this sit on the shelf another 6 months, we gonna be in the red, like way more than we can afford to be. Because the problem is the Star Wars fan base is so huge. If only 20% of the people get it, they still make bank.
Shoot, if only 5% buy.
Yeah.
And you know what's wild? I'm
That's
just
happened
looking.
with Battlefront. Like that Battlefront that was messed up, that was charging like $80 for like Ray and Finn. 20% of the fan base got it, so they still made bank.
I'm looking at the picture of like who they modeled the character after, and she is pretty. Like she's really pretty, but like that
They lead her.
They badly
lead her.
Badly.
Like well, the animation modeling is not. I'm looking at some terrible stuff right now.
I don't want to look.
It's bad. It's really bad. And usually it's a celebration to leave the map in the game because you've broken the testing that you found some crease somewhere where you're able to get outside of the bounds of what the game was designed around, and there are holes everywhere in this game. You just you're going on objectives you're supposed to go on, and you just go through the map. It's bad. It's really bad. Combat doesn't work because you end up going through the thing you're supposed to fight instead of and so you're doing what you're supposed to do as far as combat goes, but because you went through the character, you never strike your hit, and then they're still hitting you though. And it's just bad. It's really bad. I don't want to play this game. And they spent all this time to make the lighting effects and all that stuff look good. It's like my thing is the graphics should have never been drawn. All this should have been checkerboard before they ever got done with testing how the gameplay works. They effectively had the ILM graphics engine working before they had the game working, and you can clearly tell it looks really good. It's just you got to play it at some point. This is bad. I would not recommend this to anyone. I don't know how you even finish that game, but okay. Sorry, but it's really bad, man.
I mean, it's not a finished game, obviously.
No, I mean that I was like when I was watching because I was interested in because I'm like it's different. It's telling a different story than I'm used to. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I said, I'm like, let me just watch some gameplay because I got a lot of stuff dropping in September. I can't buy it off the rip, so I'll just wait to the usual Ubisoft crackhead. Sale.
I mean,
that's what they do. Ubisoft's Tyrone Bigham special.
It'll be $5 at some point. Maybe they'll patch it.
Real quick.
But then I'm sitting up here, I'm watching the gameplay. I'm like, dude, this is bad. Like this is bad. This is like, dude, this is some Mortal Kombat 1 stuff they was doing, like. And Bethesda glitches where you're falling through the dirt, and I'm like, what in the world is nobody quality this?
So like if you saw a vehicle, you get on a hover bike and go real fast, and then something weird happens, that's acceptable.
Right.
Walking,
right.
not running, walking, and falling through the floor like just randomly.
Just walk and fall through that hole in the internet.
Nah, that's not acceptable. And at that point, I'm like, literally, now I understand why Nintendo does what they do. And that's not to get back on the Nintendo thing again, but I'm like, the focus should be making sure the physics work in the game before you ever draw any textures on screen. That should be the focus. Clearly people weren't talking to each other.
But I will say this too. That is dang, now I lost my train of thought. I did this last time. Nope, I don't have it. It's gone.
It's a broken game.
Yeah,
so
it fell through those broken physics.
Yeah. It's rough. If you look at them, it's gonna. I try not to look at a game and say that's bad. I don't want to play it, because you never know, until you get your hands on it or whatever. I've been pleasantly surprised a couple of times by games that look janky, but they play really well. I know this doesn't play really well. it just ain't it. So what's up, Debo? How you doing?
Go Debo.
What's good? I feel like Ubisoft hasn't really had the best track record as of late either. Like they've kind of been.
Well, that's because they're trying to force people to go, live services. I don't know why they're still trying to do this, man.
I don't know.
It's not gonna work.
And they're not. Then they're not. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't. It doesn't suck to say, but it sucks to say that they are not the leaders to be able to shift that. Like that's not them. You know what I'm saying? Like
the industry ain't ready for it, and they're trying to fix it, and it ain't working. And it's like you're not making money off this stuff.
No, and so there's things that I like about Ubisoft that I think are well, and I wish that more companies would do. Like if you have a game from a certain company, they do the Assassin's Creed or like the Far Cry and all that other stuff, and if you have bought in one game, they may have like a special downloadable something content from that game in another game. You know what I'm saying? Like in your Far Cry, you may be able to get the Assassin's Creed suit. You know what I'm saying? Or a skin of something. I think that's cool. I think more companies should do stuff like that. On the flip side, I don't think one thing that I hate that they do is when you jump into a game, the first thing they're like is like, hey, check out this, like in a big box. Check out our shop right here. Come on over here. Check out the
whole game up.
Right. And then that small little corner is like start game, continue game, load. I hate that. Like it should never be that in the first place. So I think they just got to take a step back. You know what I'm saying? Not have any games, but go back to your smaller titles.
Go back to what you used to do back in the day. Like, dude, like Child of Light.
Yeah.
The new Prince of Persia.
Give us like another Rayman. Give us another Rayman.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it, and I don't know of another way to say this without going on a long diatribe. Get Warren Buffett out my gaming industry. Get him out. Get all those types out. Why we got investors all up in the industry? Because the whole reason we're doing these type of things is because the publishers and the investors in the publishers are trying to change the way the market works. And they're changing the way the market works is because they want more money. There's nothing wrong with a small studio with a small publisher to release a game. They sell a couple million copies and they're perfectly fine until they release the next game. That isn't the case if you owe investors money. And they want their money and they want their interest and they want their dividends every single quarter. Now you got to figure out a way where that timetable every single quarter nets them what they want because they want their money back. They fronted you an 8-ball. They want their money back. So it's just one of those things, and I hate it, but that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, dude, when Yves kept trying to say that, because he kept trying to push it for the last 5 years, he kept trying to push it hard about going that route, and I'm like, bro, this ain't gonna work because number one, the infrastructure ain't there for this to work the way you think it's gonna work. It's not gonna work like that. Like, you need to if it's cool to want to experiment with it, but you about to kill your own company.
Yeah,
You're chopping off your nose to spite your face. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but I really wish they would stop doing that. Like I said, a new Rayman game, a new Child of Light. You know what I'm saying?
Heck, even a Rabbids game at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
man, were they? Who did Rockstar? Was that them? Or not Rockstar? GarageBand. No, that was Activision.
That was Activision.
But do something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, make something small. Like, we got Prince of Persia. Good job. Keep going with that. Do that. Do more of that.
Ubisoft was their best when they had smaller, more direct titles. The problem is that once everything started going big and they started trying to jump up with everything big, they started messing up. I mean, I would love to see it, and Jay Biggs mentioned it. I would love to see another Starlink, but one that's a little bit more focused, not so repetitive.
Yeah, because that's
doing
that's
the same thing
killed,
over and over.
Yeah, that's what killed me with Starlink. It was like, bro, the first 5 ones, the plans were the same. It was the same thing over and over again. Yes, I had an R wing, but
right.
Tiring after a while. I'm like, bro,
I think too. That's why it's taking longer for Beyond Good and Evil 2. It was like that was like apparent because I felt like that. I almost want to say that was the engine that they were going to use to try and push Beyond Good and Evil 2. And they're like, okay, we got. Oh, wait a minute.
But like they did that to themselves. There wasn't no variety.
No.
Nope.
And it also didn't help that it was the Toys to Life, so you had to stick with what you had.
Yeah, or buy a new thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, dude, that's just wasn't gonna happen. So, yeah, that boy, talk about weirdness. But last thing before we get out of here, partner showcase and Indie World Direct. I will say this: in the future, I wouldn't mind them if they're just gonna be 20 minutes apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Tag team them.
Yeah, that's fine.
That actually worked out.
Mm-hmm.
The tag team actually worked out. We got release date for the Capcom and Marvel arcade stuff. That's September 12th. Physical is in November. Once again,
I'm still mad about that, but yeah,
I'm not. I'm double dipping. So,
I mean, I have my $60 copy.
So,
but $500 if you buying the Dreamcast version.
Yeah.
Or the Saturn version of any of those games.
Look, I got both of those. I ain't giving them up.
So I'm
not giving them up at all.
There's a lot of stuff in there that I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun.
Pizza Tower Pizza. That oh my gosh. That one was sweet. It looked like a Saturday morning cartoon, you know.
That game looks sick.
That game got big on Steam. I knew that game was coming to the Switch.
So let's see. Epic Mickey Refurbish, Funko Fusion, Room Factory, Guardians of Azuma. That one looks crazy. Five Nights at Freddy Help Wanted, My Sims Cozy Bundle, Fitness Boxing 3, On Your Tail, which I thought had already came out, but apparently it didn't. That thing was shown originally, I want to say 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Furry the game.
Yeah. Europa finally got a release date, October 11th. Date Everything is a game I will never play. Some of y'all need Jesus.
Y'all weird.
That is a weird.
y'all are weird.
I just want to know who thought of that.
Somebody who was alone, alone in their house, and they sat down talking to the different objects in their house, coming up with personalities and everything.
I'm like, okay, that's a little bit too much information. Got one that I think the Trails fans are gonna like. Trails in the Sky. I have never played that game, but I did watch the movie. Great movie. It was on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's still there or not. But yeah, I watched it. Loved it. You know, I'm happy we all finally be able to play it, and it's probably going to be in there. It looks like it's in the Trails Through Daybreak engine, which I think is perfect for me anyway. Let's see, and the Yakuza Kiwami is actually got a release date of October 24th. So,
it wasn't bad.
Yeah, and the whole Tales of Grace's F, but y'all already know I said that should have been out. And I did pose the question during the direct. Do you think, and I'll pose it here, do you think Bandai Namco finna start releasing a whole bunch of stuff that should have been released a while ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they're free. They're free from the contract now from Sony. Did I say that? I said that.
I mean, Jim, your boy Jim running his mouth last year.
Yeah, I mean, well, they kind of had to because they were trying to keep Activision from merging, but you know,
right?
They'll tell any of those trade secrets if it means that they get to keep the big thing. So that was, because they did not want. They're like, oh, that means Call of Duty is going to be on every platform, and we can't do those commercials anymore and say get it on PlayStation.
Right.
I mean, you can still do those commercials. The thing is, though, you can still do those commercials.
But they'll be pointless if they're going to be on Game Pass day one. And they're going to be on Switch.
Here's the thing, though. Sony has their own version of Game Pass. That's the problem. I'm like, dude, just pimp your stuff.
They don't push it like that.
Yeah, pimp your stuff. So
they want to pretend like they ain't got a Game Pass. You can get your games directly.
So Sony has been slick using third parties as first party games for the longest time, like legit working deals to say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. And to be fair, Microsoft did it a little bit too, because they did it with Call of Duty on the 360. Then after that, Sony did the exact same thing. They started cutting deals like, hey, we're going to make sure if there's a Grand Theft Auto commercial comes out, if there's that PlayStation box is going to be front and center. And they don't want to tell you in the United States, they probably don't see them as competition, but Nintendo is fierce competition for Sony in Japan. So they try to make sure it's not even available at all on their platform, if at all possible.
Because a lot of people don't know this, but Tales of Graces originally was on the Wii.
Yep.
So that's why when Reggie Fils-Aimé made that statement talking about, oh, we know what our fans want, I'm like, no, you don't. Because we've been telling you, bring that one over. And that's back when they was the Operation Rainfall started for Xenoblade and Pandora's Tower and Last Story. That's when that started, because he was like, he kept saying that, and I'm like, bro, people are telling you what they want, and you acting like you got a hearing problem.
See, but that's I think all of that had to change because the market started changing. Once the majority of Nintendo's profits weren't in Japan anymore, they had to start listening. So like NCL had to start saying, hey, look, Xenoblade sold well. Now that we did this little favor over here, I guess we should start paying attention and start making sure we get those RPGs on our platform. Because for the longest time it was niche, right? So like you get a couple of licensing dollars, the game barely sells on your platform, and you move on to the next one, and hopefully you get the licensing dollars on that one. Well, now they're doing really well, and you're making a whole bunch of money off licensing because so many copies are being sold. So it's kind of hard to look the other way on that now. It's not the Americans being afraid of the weird Japanese game anymore. Like Elden Ring is a Japanese game through and through, and it is like it was one of the best selling games that year. So you can't. That's not something they can ignore anymore. I think they see that, and they've obviously adapted. And you're like, hey, we're a global company now, and every territory is a priority. So.
BT, I didn't say Reggie was blocking games. I said he said that they know what the fans want. I'm like, if you know that, then you're paying attention to what fans are actually wanting. And I didn't say he was blocking games.
Actually, technically, Reggie did block a few games because one of them was the game was fully voice acted with American voice work done. And it never came out. A Disaster Day of Christ.
Yeah, Disaster Day of Christ. I was just about to say that.
Yeah. He personally blocked that from coming over here because he didn't like it.
Yeah, Disaster Day. I do remember that.
RJ, there are some Nintendo fans afraid of RPGs. That is a big sum now. That is not the majority anymore. Especially with 100 million Switch users out there now.
Yeah, that ain't. Nah, they've always been a good number because 5th, 6th gen had a bunch of RPGs on them.
Yep. Yeah. We're talking about back in the day, 100,000 copies meant that you did well as an RPG on any platform, to include PS2 then at the time. Now Xenoblade clocking millions, like day one.
Yeah.
And they saying that ain't good enough.
Yeah.
Well, other people saying that ain't good enough.
Which is crazy because JRPGs probably are pretty expensive to make, I would imagine, because that's a long development cycle for writing.
Depending on who it is.
Yeah.
Because like Xenoblade don't take that long to make. Final Fantasy, on the other hand.
Right.
Yeah. Or I would say some of the Tales games too, because their studios at the time were smaller.
It's two different. It was two different studios making them. So because they were doing. Yeah, because it was one of them was done by the artist that did Oh My Goddess, and the other one was done by the artist. The main artist was the guy who did what's that anime?
The same anime they did all the art in Symphonia.
Yeah, well, that's Kosuke Fukushima. That's the guy who does Oh My Goddess. He did like Tell Symphonia. He did because they were trading off. Because that's why, like, a lot of the handheld games ain't come over here, like Tales of Innocence, Tales of Innocence, and another one that didn't come, that was on the DS that didn't come over.
The studio was busy doing something new.
Yeah, that's why you got like Vesperia has Kosuke Fujishima, but Taylor Hearts don't. You know, so they would the artist teams was trading on and off because they had two teams working. So when you got one, then 2 years later you got another one. Then 2 years after that you got the other one from the other team. Then 2 years after that you got the other one from the other team. Tales of Arise is when they went full Final Fantasy, which I don't know why they did that. I really wish they wouldn't have did that, but because it didn't feel like a Tales game, if that makes any sense. Like the elements were there, it just didn't feel like a Tales game.
Yeah, Tales to me is mad combos.
Mad combos and then anime cutscene.
Yep.
Not, the cutscene would actually be hand drawn, not, CG inside the, yeah. But that's neither here nor there. But, yeah. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you, everybody in chat, for coming through. Appreciate you. Shadow, anything you want to pimp out?
Yeah. So I'm doing things. You'll see what those things are. I know I've been teasing a little bit here and there, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Just stay there. Y'all been faithful this whole year, so it'll happen. So just stay tuned. Check your notifications. Check Twitter. You'll see.
Andre, anything you want to pimp out?
I mean, not a whole lot. Just a couple videos from this week, and just go to the channel and check them.
All right, Sandstorm.
Dang, man, y'all just keep it real simple, and I gotta get my expanded. So we had the Stormcast yesterday, talking about PS5 Pro versus Switch 2, and that whole glorious conversation. That was a fun one. As well as Concord not doing well. So if you wanna,
who would have known that it takes 7 years to make a hero shooter that people wasn't gonna like it because they don't like hero shooters anymore.
25,000, man. Y'all missed the homework, and you know what happens when you miss homework and you turn it in late. You know what your score is gonna be. So we talked about that, right? So we had fun talking about that as well. Later in the day, we went back to play Black Myth Wukong, which I feel authentically bad about. Is what I told Jay, is that the game almost made me rage quit, but I ended up beating the boss before the end. And then like I usually do, I signed off live and then turned around and played a boss who was even better than that one. That one was actually fun, getting the timing and stuff like that down. So I may play again. I may play tonight. We'll see. But yeah, like Nightwolf. Yes, it was me. I did, and it's not temporary. It's a permanent flag. So there is a completely new channel for all of you who don't know. It is the Sandstorm Show, so not under Sandstorm McDowell anymore. So make sure you go over there and hit subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. We're starting back from 0, and we're just gonna make it to the number even faster. I thank you for all the support, Andre, Shadow, Jay, Jack, Vicky, just everybody who's really supported. Geronimo especially made him a moderator on the channel because that was a really good lookout on exactly what happened. So yeah, I'm really appreciative of everybody who's supported and jumped on. It made me kind of surprised, and I'm like, I didn't even think y'all, some of y'all content creators, I didn't even think y'all followed me or even listened to what I gotta say. So yeah, appreciate it from everybody.
Yeah. All right, so me and Vicky started our review of Rings of Power, so check that out. Just check that out. Other than that, don't really have anything else. Just be here next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will catch you guys then. Have a good night, people. We will see you guys next Sunday.
Peace, folks.
Peace.